welcome to another episode of Random-ish with Sanja. Yeah, I like the way that my liner says my name, Sanja. Anyways, how you doing? I hope everything in your life is well. Everything in my life is going pretty well. It's going. You know what I mean? I've got a feeling that something really dope is getting ready to happen for me. So that is definitely keeping a nice little jizzy feeling in my belly. Hi. I had a meeting last week with a business person, and we were discussing the things that I'm doing and where do I want to go. And I realized to some I might seem like that girl is just all over the place. Not really. Everything has to do with music and manifesting. And talking with people. How about that? But I did realize in that conversation that I do need to tie my ends together. So while I'm on the podcast, listening to the podcast, while I'm on the podcast, again, thanks for listening. I should probably mention the other things I do too. Yeah. I'm also a mobile DJ. I'm a radio persona, 96.7 The Buzz. I'm actually on, while I'm recording this right now, Saturday mornings. I just wrote a book called Manifest Beauty, kind of about some of the things that we talk about here every once in a while. And it's available on Amazon. I'm also putting out some remixes and stuff like that. So again, as I get more into self-promoting. Like, I am so backwards. I'm like doing these things, but then not like so much into like, let me promote it and get people to listen. I appreciate the people who are listening. I don't know how the hell you're finding it, but I see that you're listening, so thank you. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, so check out the book, Manifest Beauty. And thanks for listening to the podcast. So let's get into the show. Random-ish, today's topic. So I got today's topic from my eggs. Wait, not my ovary eggs, but from the eggs that I eat. Yes, I went to the grocery store and big surprise. Whoa. I used to cook a lot, but since the daughter is like out of the house and I'm by myself right now, I'm getting back into it because I think, like, you should love yourself enough to cook for yourself, Sandra. Like, why did there have to be other people that you're cooking for? Like, right? Yeah. So anyway, dealing with that. And so I went to the store and got some eggs and got some Pete and Jerry's organic eggs because I like to get some organic eggs. I like that. The cage free and all of that good stuff. And you know what was interesting to me is on the is it inlet, the little information about Pete and Jerry's eggs. It says in there, it's a quote, "It's possible to get really cheap eggs out of a factory farm, but I wouldn't want to live on that farm, and I sure know a chicken wouldn't either." Maynard Zimmerman. Believe in what you buy. And I gotta tell you, when I read that, I was like, damn right, but then I thought about human beings and I thought about how humans, when okay, so we're all up in arms about, and not just us, but I'm driving down the highway and I'm seeing these billboards about animals and I'm not even looking at them, but I know that they're about animals and it's something with dairy and, don't eat dairy. And I'm just kind of like, wow, there are so many people and groups that are forming to protect these animals, but yet where are the groups that are actually doing something to protect people? And I don't mean just like the needy people. You know what I mean? Like, what about the folks such as myself who are business owners who've been working their asses off, but because of inflation and because people are weird, some groups feel that this group deserves to have money and this group doesn't deserve to have money. If you're so up in arms about animals and how animals feel, and of course, rightly so, because when animals are going through stress and then you eat that animal, you are ingesting that stress, whether you know it or not. But what about the people? It's possible to get really cheap eggs out of a factory farm. It's possible to get some really cheap labor out of people. It's possible to get people to continue to just be little zombies waking up every day and, oh, I got to go get this money and then I'm going to hand it over. Like right now at this point, I am living this right now where it is a matter of almost every penny that I'm making is going out to Sprint, USAA, love you, thank you. USAA, the landlord, my phone bill is like crazy high. I do not understand why, and I barely even use it. The insurance, for crying out loud, my storage, because I'm living with roommates, so I'm not in a full house, so I've got storage. It's like, it's crazy that we are working to support other people. If we could, I know that that's part of the argument about raising the minimum wage, but here's my thing. We don't need to raise the minimum wage if we're then going to raise the taxes and raise the cost of living. There's no point. What needs to happen is the people that we have in power, we need to have people who are actually relatable and understand what the common person is going through. The person who is waking up, going to work, putting food on the table for their kids, but then has to make like a dire decision. Do I get gas or do I pay the electricity bill? You know what I mean? And not for nothing, but the companies, I understand that there's costs and everything like that. But in reality, a lot of the big wigs, the bigger positions in the companies are getting salaries that are, and I know that it's always about a profit, and I'm not trying to get into companies' business and the bureaucracies. And I understand that that's part of the reason why we need to have new laws, is so that businesses are not having to pay so much so that they can kick back a little bit more. But either way it goes, we have some things that we need to work on, guys. If we have a realization that how animals are treated and how animals are housed and how they act and their behavior, we need to make that same correlation for human beings. It's not okay to... I had a woman in the backseat of my car. Another reason why I wrote the book Manifest Beauty. A woman in the backseat of my car, and she's like, I have got 4 jobs and I can barely buy my kids shoes. And I felt like wow, I'm only floating above water because my daughter is grown and has to fend for herself. If I had a child right now, I don't even know. It's like they're almost making it impossible. And in all actuality, this is one of those nugget times that it is about, because the system is the way it is, your only hope is to use your mind, AKA go buy the book, Manifest Beauty. The only hope that we really have is to use our minds and to keep our mindset strong and stay focused and don't let things kind of knock us off. But I will say this, in the everyday today living, it can be tricky sometimes, It's important to keep the mindset. But I'm not talking about mindsets. Right now I'm talking about like just physical. We're not using the mind for anything, just physical, what people are living, because this is most people's reality. Even though myself, I am working and the money's going right to the man, I'm not working every day, and I'm not working really, really hard every day. I'm actually having fun doing what I'm doing to get what I'm getting, and I'm only doing it when I feel like doing it and then handing it over. So I don't exactly feel like I have the right to complain, but at the same time, I do rely on people in order to get the money I need to pay my bills, and I feel that a lot of people are not using their minds to manifest their lives. They're working jobs and, they're living life and just hoping that everything's going to be okay. So for those people who are like that, I think that the system needs to change. And the system needs to change for me too. I ain't trying to exclude myself. But again, if we have a realization that, it's better to eat chickens and beef and animals that have, free range. Are knowing that, is that making it to where all farms are being like that? No. And I understand that with humanity, it's going to be the same way. For those who realize that that the better living is you are more productive, you get more done, they're the ones who are going to be living that. So here's to us who realize that we need to be satisfied so that we can be extremely productive in our society. The point is, how do we make it so that everyone has a little bit more satisfaction? Because damn it, if Maynard Zimmerman can get it, it's possible to get really cheap eggs out of a factory farm, but I wouldn't want to live on that farm, and I sure know a chicken wouldn't either. If Maynard Zimmerman can get it that it's jacked up to be living in non-abundance, then how do you think the people are feeling? And for those powers that be, because listen, I believe somebody with some money is listening, and somebody with some power is also listening. You and your friends need to get together and figure out something that you can do. Number one, the people of this world are supporting each other, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, those big companies wouldn't, CEOs, they wouldn't have the money that they have if the businesses didn't have the customers that they have and if the people weren't relying on the systems and all of that good stuff. So I say, instead of it being just you living in your big, beautiful house, I think everybody should be able to live in a beautiful house. It doesn't need to be a big old mansion, because not everybody wants that anyway. I do. But everybody should be able to live in a beautiful home. Everybody should feel free, and everybody should have the right to pursue their happiness. Yes. Believe in the people that you want to buy your stuff. Enough with that rant. Ooh, our next show. Listen, I met a military vet stripper, and it's a dude pole dancer. Excuse me. He is not a stripper. He is a pole dancer. Yeah, he will be on our next show. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Can't wait to conversate with him. All right. So thanks for listening. Hope I gave you something to think about. Don't forget, our freaking midterm elections are coming up. And this whole thing right here, this is why we need to vote, okay? Because I'm not going to lie, I usually do vote. And sometimes I will go with, it's a vibe type of a thing. But the reality of it is that we do need to start paying a little bit more attention. I don't think that we need to be in a socialist society where, everybody gets treated the same, because not everybody works the same. Not everybody acts the same. So I don't think that that's what it is. But I do think that we need to have a system that's readily available for those people who have been working their heinies off but just cannot seem to get ahead, because everybody, in my opinion, should have a savings, right? Okay? And the only way that's going to happen is if people are not living check to check, okay? And the only way that's going to happen is if people have more opportunities, and I mean everybody. Right?
This
right.
is Sunja.
Yo, check it out. It's my girl Sanja.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what up, Sanja?